Window tap, you're throwing pebbles up my way. Sneak attack, you're taking me with no delay. A secret little ride, a night.
Hey y'all, it is JCat with HearRVA. We've got JChats tonight. We have Zach Benson in the house. Really exciting day for him, so super excited to see people hopping on. Hello. Looks like Zach's ready to hop on, so hi.
We live, baby! Hey!
We're live, we did it, yay!
Oh my gosh, I'm proud that you made it on this because you were texting me about the dog situation and I was nervous on your behalf.
I'm like, why? Why, guys? Like, everything, like, today's just been a fucking weird day anyway. Just like, it's been an awesome day. I know that you've had an amazing day, and I'm super excited to talk about this. And, you know, of course, I'm just 5 minutes to go to get hopped on and have to text Zach that one of my dogs who have a 50-pound difference between them ate some Dayquil, so I had to call the vet, figure out what was going on. I'm all flush. I look crazy. But welcome to JChats with JCat and Zach Benson. So excited to have you. We've got some people hopping on. We're going to be talking about a few things tonight, but as we have some people hopping on, go ahead, introduce yourself. Let's get this party going.
Oh my gosh, let's get the party going. My name is Zach. I'm a producer. I'm a musician. I'm from Northern Virginia originally. Lived in New York for a little bit. Went to JMU, but now we are in Richmond, Virginia, which I am very stoked about. Yeah, I make indie pop music, and it's fun and dancey, but a little bit sad. But aren't we all? So
Exactly.
that's my
It's the
pitch.
most fun parts of life. No, I love how you just described it. It's fun, dancing, and sometimes a little bit sad. And I think it was When You Leave. Forgive me if I get the song name wrong.
No, that's a song name of mine. You're correct.
Okay. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna be like, no, that's not me. Yes, that was one of the ones to like really tug at the heartstrings, get me good. But there you have, Zach, you have so much good stuff right now. You just had what, 2 singles drops. So we had I Hate Him Too back in October.
hmm
Yes, and
hmm
then let's talk about what just dropped this past Friday.
Oh my God, Miss Panic at the House Show.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that
what happened? What happened this morning?
ah! I so over the weekend, my friend Mike, who lives in Nashville, sent me a text and was like, "Hey, one of my friends just messaged me and said that she likes your song. Is it cool if she like adds it to her radio station rotation?" And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, why not?" And he was like, "Okay, cool. I'll send you her information." And he sends me her information, and she spins at Lightning 100, which is like this huge independent radio station in Nashville that is just like absolutely insane. And so this morning, Panic at the House Show was her DJ pick of the week at Lightning 100. So it'll be spinning there literally all week. But it was the first time that I've heard my song on US radio, which is absolutely insane.
So exciting. And you posted a story, and for people just joining, make sure if you're not already, you're following this man. This is Zach Benson. He's back Zenson on
That's
Instagram.
me.
So it's BACH ZENSON. Did I get that right? Yeah.
Come on, spelling.
On
Yes.
Instagram.
Spelling bee winner.
Yes.
Look at you.
I'm doing okay right now. I'm making it work. Posted this morning, just absolutely beside himself. And it's funny because so I went and look up the radio station. I wanted to obviously repost his story. So excited for you. I grew up in Huntsville, Alabama. So Nashville was like an hour away for me. So I have a bunch of friends back home, like from my childhood, that also follow the station. So I'm just sitting here like,
I was freaking out this morning too, because I went to look at the station's like Instagram and their Twitter, and all their followers were like bands that I've been obsessed with since I was like, in middle school. So yeah, big cool moment that made me like 9 in the morning on a Monday. Super fun.
freezing up just a little bit. It's probably
Oh my gosh.
me because of how things.
It's A-okay.
There
Can
you
you
go.
hear me now? Are we good?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
And if you see me leaning forward, I'm just waving at the people that are tuning in, joining with us. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in again.
I'm seeing some of my pals in the joining group. So hi, friends.
Yes. Say hello to whoever you want. This is your stage.
Hi to everybody.
Your
I
evening.
love all of my friends.
You're too cute. See, okay. Let me just back up for a second. Zach, do you remember the first time we ever locked eyes?
I do. I remember the exact moment.
Yeah?
It was the Canal Club, Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
I was opening up for the lovely band Sub Radio, which we'll have to get into at some point because I could talk about them for 20 hours. And you are the most energetic person in the crowd, which I had no idea who you were. You had no idea who I was. So it was very much just like oh, this is a moment happening right now. And then we talked afterwards, and then you followed me afterwards, and you were just like, this is going to be a thing. And I was like, I'm in on the journey. Let's take this journey.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, hello, this guy is amazing, is a Richmond artist. I'm pissed off that I've never heard you before, number one. Number two, you're amazing. Like what an opener. Like that entire experience was so amazing. And like you said, Sub Radio, fantastic guys. It's Barry's birthday today, the bassist.
Happy birthday, Barry.
To Barry.
I love Barry. What a guy.
Like, how much fun is it though so you're in Richmond now. You've also been in Brooklyn, Nova, things like that. So we've got Sub Radio out in DC, Nova. So much talent, so close. How much fun is it to go to a show? Super excited to see somebody. And then this opener here, Zach Benson, wearing his Miley Cyrus Made Me Gay shirts.
You know it.
Just jamming out, one-man band. Like you're playing for a crowd of 100,000. My goodness. The energy that you put into your music, the energy that you put into your shows, just like the love and everything that you put into what you're doing is so apparent, so amazing. I want you to tell people that are watching more about that and like how you're able to be so like, I don't know, fantastic to where somebody like me, random show at the Canal Club, local acts, things like that. I leave there with a brand new favorite artist. Like, how do you make that happen? How does Zach Benson become so like,
Well, firstly, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said, ever. So thank you for that. That's such a compliment and exactly what I want to do. Second of all, Sahana's in the comments being very, very nice, and she was also at that show. So hi. How are you doing?
Hi. Sorry if I was weird and bumping into you and screaming too loud to Zach and Sub Radio. It was so
I was the same way. I was rocking.
Okay.
It took me a second. I've been performing music for a long time, since I was in like middle school, but I was always like a drummer in bands, or I would do like musicals, and so I would be in like the ensemble kind of in the background. So I always loved being on stage and all that, but I was never like a front man ever. I was always, drummer, ensemble, chorus, whatever you want to call it. And basically like when I first started making solo music and I first started to perform, I think I still had that mentality of just like, I'm just going to get up, do the song, peace out and leave. And I was really nervous to like actually show a lot of emotion or like get kind of crazy. And I think it took me, almost a year of like performing before I felt comfortable enough to like actually have energy and like get energy back and interact with people on stage and all that. So to answer your question, it took a lot of time. But I think the number one thing, the first time I ever really felt super comfortable on stage was the first time I ever performed out of state. So I was living in Virginia, but I performed a show in Brooklyn, and I knew nobody in the crowd. Like, and I was like, nobody here. I'm not going to run into anyone at the store. I'm not going to see these people 20 more times this year. Like, this might be the only time I ever see these people ever again. So I'm just going to do whatever. And that ended up being my favorite show that I had performed thus far. So I feel like that mentality of like, you might not ever see these people again. You might not ever get the chance to make an impression. So leave it all out there and don't regret anything when you're on stage. Like, I hated looking back at videos and being like, you look so bored, or like, you look terrified. Like, just let loose. People respond to that a lot more when you're excited, you know? So it's always been my little mantra.
No, for sure. And like, I'm just sitting here giggling because I can't imagine you being somebody kind of being timid and being shy, being up on stage, because again,
dude.
like I've only gotten to see you one time, and I want to change that. I know you had your final show of the year already.
Final show of the year was in DC, but the plan right now is that March and April, and I think I've told a lot of people this, but like nothing's really been in the plans, but now things are actually in the plans, so it's like, oh, it's real. But March and April will be a lot of shows. So
fantastic.
And a lot of different places across the country. So I'm excited about that.
Very good. That'll be
like
amazing.
It'll be so much fun. I'm very excited. But yeah, like first year I was performing was when I was in Harrisonburg at JMU, and like there's not really like a pop scene there, and I was very much like a pop guy, just doing backup tracks. And everyone that I was performing with were like either rappers or like indie bands or like kind of harder like alt groups and all this. I want to come to Nashville.
Yes.
And so I would always be really nervous that like, I was also like the queer kid there, like singing songs about like boys and all this. And I was really nervous that if the worst thing that could happen would be like, you know, literal hate crimes. And then the other worst thing that could happen would be like, people are like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, he's not a real musician. These are backup tracks. But then everyone in Harrisonburg was really, really nice too. So I think it took going out and realizing like, oh, people respond better when you're like genuinely yourself and like are having fun. And then I took that to Harrisonburg, and people responded to that a lot better than when I was the awkward guy just standing in the corner. So yeah,
just kind of like off by yourself. But now you're out here, you're doing keyboards, you're producing things, you play guitar. I mean, you're literally doing it all. You went from background to, all right, kind of like Dave Grohl when he, you know, Nirvana happened. Courtney Love may or may not have ended the band, things, you know, whatever. But he's like, all right, we've got Foo Fighters going here, and, you know, I'm going to get myself a little band together. Let's play some music. Oh, but actually, let me just play it all. Mm-hmm. Let me go ahead and take it on and just play it all. And I feel like you almost kind of did that. You like found yourself. You've always been talented and, you know, doing things with music, doing things with school, but you're like, well, let me see what it's like to step away from that background and put myself up front. Mm-hmm. And here you are. Here you are with some amazing stuff. Like, I literally cannot get you off repeat on my Spotify. I have had Misery stuck in my head. Randomly, I'll go from Kissing to Sunset to I Hate Him Too. Yes. And it's just, yeah, like your songs are all so fun,
Thank you.
so dancey, but also have that emotion to where I kind of liken it to like what Third Eye Blind does, Blink 182, and we're going to get back to them, by the way.
Please do.
We are going to, because this is the question I've been hanging on to since October for you.
I'm nervous, but okay.
Don't be nervous. I'm gonna be excited to get this off my chest finally. But you still take something that's so meaningful, so emotional, but you can make it sound like, wait a second, like with Third Eye Blind, Semi-Charmed Life, singing about, meth addiction, things like that. It sounds so happy. And then people
Mhm.
are like, well, what is this? And I know you're not singing about meth addiction or things
No,
like that, but
not really.
some no, thank goodness, but some heartbreak, some just like
Mhm.
life things, but it's still just like sometimes I don't really know. Like, do I want to cry a little bit? Do I
Yeah.
want to dance? Do I want
That's
to
always
do?
the goal. That's always been my favorite music ever, is the kind that you can listen to the song either with all your friends and you're like screaming along and dancing, or you can listen to it by yourself and be like, oh, I need to cry right now. So bands and artists that have been able to do that are the ones that I always look up to. So I'm glad that that's translating because that's always been my favorite stuff.
No, like it's so cool, and you're somebody that I feel like I could throw on if I'm doing some chores in the background, or if I've thrown you on for our two sons. Me and Brian, we've got two twin 7-year-old boys. We've got a 19-year-old daughter, but the two 7-year-olds, they love to have dance parties sometimes at night. And
Mhm.
we've thrown your music on just like, hey, this is fun.
Let's do
We're going to
this.
get you go to sleep because you're going to dance your little booty off.
Ah!
Um, but also like it's so again, people that are just now tuning in, just now joining, I'm talking to Zach Benson. You've got quite a few things that you've had out. You've just had I Hate Him Too,
Mhm.
Panic, at the house party. Am I getting at that? House show.
House show.
I keep telling myself I'm going to say house party and it's house show. I'm
You can
thinking
panic
Panic
anywhere,
at the
honestly.
disco. Um, you've had so many different things out, these two newer songs, but it sounds like too that you have a little bit of, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you going through like phases with your music? Can you categorize them into like kind of times of your life, or what's
A
going on
little
there?
bit, definitely. I think last year was when my album Hopeless Romantic came out, and that was sort of an amalgamation of like the last year of songwriting and producing for myself and, getting all this stuff out. And so it ended up just being kind of like a retroactive look at like my own relationship where I like got my heart broken. I like went through that grieving process and then I came back and sort of fell back in love again. And just wanted to sort of timeline that. And then sonic wise, like it was just, I feel like my music is whatever I'm obsessed with at that moment. I'm going to write a song that sounds like that. And my music taste is like very eclectic. Like it's kind of a little bit of everything. So you kind of get a little bit of everything when you're listening to like an album of mine or like a bunch of songs in a row. Um, but yeah, with this latest group of songs, I have these two that are out, and then I have a few on the back burner that'll be coming out shortly. So, um, but basically, I wrote all these songs after I moved back home from being in New York, and I was sort of at home and kind of going through it, kind of going through, the early 2021 pandemic depression vibes of like, what is life? What is going to happen? And I was just like so down and out. And the thing that really took me out of it was writing songs with friends, which like all my previous stuff has pretty much been 95% myself. And this new stuff is like collaborations with friends. So it's a lot of anyone that I'm talking to or like friends with on Twitter, like is all over these songs. But
That's
then it's,
awesome.
which is awesome. But then since I was also at home, I feel like a lot of it is like my high school music taste, which is why I Hate Him Too is like such a warped Tory, like kind of pop punk moment with like really loud guitars and screaming. And then Panic at the House Show just reminds me of like, you know, the 1975 and like all those bands that I was obsessed with in like the later half of high school. So yeah. And this time I also didn't really want to write about relationships anymore because I feel like every single one of my other songs was about my like dating life, which I love. I love talking about that. I have a great boyfriend that I love a lot. But I feel like I have like 20 something songs about dating. So I'm like, let me expand a little bit. And so these new songs are definitely about everything else that's pretty much going on in my life. So
You kind of remind me of an artist that's maybe a little bit famous. Started in country, has crossed over, has, you know, I don't know how many hits, blonde, curly, plays guitar, sings a lot about her exes sometimes too, but then, you know, has some different stages and things in her life. And I've seen your fans pop up in your chats too, even comparing you, but I don't want to name drop anyone because I don't want to assume.
there's definitely no assumption going on there. There's definitely nobody that I'm very much obsessed with that may or may not be part of what I like.
It couldn't be Taylor Swift, could it?
Girl, don't even get me started on the Blondie. I could talk for so long.
No,
Blondie
but
herself.
like seriously, like Taylor Swift aside, if she never existed, you would do perfectly encapsulate kind of just hearing from you just now too, talking about different, you know, times in your life and really being able to pour your heart out to something and then say, okay, what's my next step? What's my next chapter? And going from there. And so is this your 1989 kind of vibe?
I don't know. I feel like right now we're in like I dyed my hair blue. I'm talking about Warped Tour all the time. I'm like referencing all these old bands. I feel like I'm definitely in my like emo moment, but it's not like an angry necessarily moment because I'm not mad. So I don't know. This is just kind of like my fun little Hot Topic era right now.
I love it. And just like kind of going through the feedback here in the chats and everything, Kath, like,
Oh my God, Kat, love. Love.
She says all bops. We've got Loves '09, something I love. It's ridiculously amazing songs backed by an artist who is so genuine and fun and attracts the same kind of people who listen to them, aka Zach.
Oh my God. Okay, pause. First of all, you, Sahana, and Kat are all people that I met at that Sub Radio show. So I feel like I owe Sub Radio all of my success for anything. But I think if we want to talk about that and like genuine fans and stuff, like being able to find artists like Sub Radio or like when I was in high school, it was like people like 21 Pilots and like All Time Low and like Mayday Parade and all that sort of like we're able to cultivate this community of people and like you meet all these great people and you go to shows with them and you start talking and you have all of a sudden you have like this family and this group of people around you. And so I'm like insanely grateful that like people associate that with me. And I hope that like now that shows are back and I'm able to like tour and do all these things, like I just hope that community gets to like grow and grow and grow. Because seeing people like when I talked to Kai, you were like, I get to hang out with all my friends whenever I go to shows with them. And that's like so cool that's like the meeting place. So I'm glad that I get to be like part of that little journey.
Yeah, and like even before everything, you know, concerts have always been a thing where people can get together, have fun, but like now especially, you might be able to meet up with people that you haven't seen in a long time, meet new people, things like that, being able to get out, listen to artist things, and so it is fun, and it's exciting to see these names pop up and, you know, joining in and watching and everything tonight. With everything that you're talking about, you know, the emo stuff from the 90s and just kind of really relating to that time frame, like you're pulling at my heartstrings. I was born in 82, that was my high school time, like my so-called life. Dawson's Creek, like all of that was out when I was in high school at the same time. Like that was my age. And so I can definitely see myself at almost 40, you know, throwing your stuff on, sitting back and kind of going back into this time capsule, but also, you know, being able to still really relate to things, which again, I find super cool. It's sometimes it can be hard to find things that, you know, you might have liked something back in the day and they might still be putting out music, but it's, you know, as time goes on, it's hard to translate into your own life, but you seem to really have a good grip on going across different things like that. And again, just talking about different things and being able to touch on different points, different times in your life, whether or not you were there to live it like I was at that age. I think that you were probably a small baby at that time, because you just had a birthday too, not too long ago.
Oh yeah, well,
25, right?
Yeah, 25. Oh my God, can I tell you about my birthday?
Yes.
So this is also about Taylor Swift, so love to be on brand right now. But for my birthday, we saw at the Canal Club that they were doing like a Taylor Swift DJ night. Yes. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to this Taylor Swift DJ night on my birthday. What a fun time. And we roll up there and we're so excited. It's me, my boyfriend, and his friend Julia. And we're all there and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be such a blast. And we walk in and everyone there is like 19. Like everyone there is just fully like a freshman at VCU. And all of a sudden I walk in and I'm like so excited. And then I look around and I'm like, I'm the oldest person here. And like the thing that got me was that they were playing 22 when we walked in. And everyone there was like screaming the lyrics. And I'm like, oh my God, everyone's singing this like aspirationally. Like they're all like, oh, I can't wait to be 22. I'm feeling 22. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. I had like an existential crisis. So that was my birthday.
You're still so young and so beautiful and so full of life. And it's so funny to hear. Because again, many parallels here. Brian just turned 39. And so on his birthday, we threw on some Taylor Swift and I was singing, it's like you're turning 42. So aged him a little bit, but can relate. I love you, Zach. Thank you again so much for joining.
Thank you.
You've been awesome.
All right, I'm going to go sleep. Good night.
Yes, please do. Get some rest. You've had a huge day.
I'm sleepy. I need coffee. All right.
You just had a whole pot this morning. I watched you and I was like, again, another man after my heart.
I know. Whole pot of coffee. I had to make a second one today.
We're right there. Go get some sleep.
I'll do my best. All right. I'll see you soon. Thanks again.
Sounds good. Thank you, Zach.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Guys, Zach Benson, if you're just tuning in, that's okay. We're going to have the full interview up in about a week on HearRVA and on YouTube. Make sure you're following both of us if you're not already. Zach Benson's on Instagram, BACHZENSON. Zach Benson, if you just want to look up the name, but also on HearRVA. And I have a new Instagram so that you can follow me. You can either look at my personal page, morabid_66, or I also have HearRVA JCat now, so it's a little bit easier to find. Come follow us. But thank you guys so much. Really awesome to see people, tuning in tonight, joining into the conversation, some familiar names.
Hold me up by the sunset and feel the glow. Hold me up for the summer, I won't let go. We can sing all the sad songs you hold so close. Hold me up by the sunset.